All right, welcome to the Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today. Listen, if you has ever wondered how to step into a role that is literally foundational to our legal and financial systems, well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're unpacking the complete step-by-step playbook for becoming a commissioned notary public in Washington state. We're going to take all those dense state statutes, the legal requirements, and the Department of Licensing rules, and we're breaking them down into a perfectly structured, super easy-to-follow guide. Right off the bat, you might be wondering, why even become a notary? What's in it for me? Well, whether you're looking to build a genuinely profitable and flexible mobile side hustle, or maybe you just want to significantly boost your career value in fields like real estate, law, or banking, a notary commission is incredibly powerful. You aren't just, mindlessly stamping paper. You're actually serving your community by facilitating life's most important transactions. It is a role of high trust and, honestly, great opportunity. To get you there, here's our agenda for today. We'll be covering 1. The Washington Notary opportunity, 2. Eligibility and legal requirements, 3. The step-by-step application, 4. The truth about exams and education, 5. Equipment and commission activation, and finally 6. Building your notary business. Starting with Section 1, the Washington Notary opportunity. Okay, let's dive into this by looking at what a notary actually does and why Washington state absolutely needs them. So at its core, a notary public acts as an official, completely impartial witness to the signing of important documents. Really, your primary job is fraud prevention. You're the one verifying identities, making sure signers are willing and competent, administering oaths, and sometimes certifying copies. Because you are essentially the frontline defense against identity theft and contract fraud, the state of Washington highly respects this 4-year commission. And for you, well, it means flexible side income and a massive resume booster. Moving to Section 2, eligibility and legal requirements. But obviously, before we start filling out any forms, we need to make sure you actually qualify. The baseline qualifications in Washington are actually pretty straightforward. You've got to be at least 18 years old and be able to read and write English. Now, here is a really interesting quirk regarding residency. You do not strictly have to live in Washington. No way, right? If you reside in neighboring Idaho or Oregon, you can still become a Washington notary, as long as you have a regular place of employment or a business right inside Washington state. Finally, you do undergo a character evaluation. The state is looking for honesty and integrity, meaning certain criminal histories, like felony convictions where civil rights haven't been restored, can disqualify you. Section 3, the step-by-step application. If you check all those initial boxes, you're ready for the multi-phase pathway managed by the Washington Department of Licensing. So the crucial point is understanding the very first step, because honestly, this trips up a lot of beginners. It's the surety bond. Washington requires you to secure a $10,000 surety bond before you even apply. Now, don't panic. You do not need $10,000 in cash sitting in a bank account. You just buy a bond from a licensed insurance company, and the premium for that usually only costs between $30 and $100 for your entire 4-year term. But remember this absolutely key fact. That bond exists to protect the public from your mistakes. It does not protect you. Once you have your bond sorted, the chronological order is incredibly clear. Step 1, you get that bond. Step 2, you fill out the state application, which includes an oath of office. Now, you actually have to physically swear this oath in front of another active commissioned notary public, and they will notarize your application. Step 3, you submit the whole shebang. You can mail it in, sure, but I highly recommend using the Secure Access Washington, or SAW, online portal. It's just so much faster. And Step 4, you pay the non-refundable $40 state filing fee. If you do apply online, processing usually takes just about 2 to 4 weeks. Section 4, truth about exams and education. Now, what happens next? Most people assume it's time to hit the books. Let's address a huge expectation about the state commissioning process. And this brilliantly illustrates one of the most unique aspects of Washington's system. If you are stressing out right now about passing some massive, grueling state exam, take a deep breath. You can relax. Washington does not require new notaries to complete formal training, nor do they require you to pass an exam. 0. However, just because it isn't legally required doesn't mean you should just fly blind. The Department of Licensing strongly recommends taking a voluntary training course. I mean, you are handling legally binding documents, and mistakes can be incredibly costly. This is also where you should strongly consider purchasing errors and omissions, or E&O insurance. Remember how we said the surety bond protects the public? Well, E&O insurance is what actually protects you personally if you make an unintentional mistake or if someone files a false claim against you. It's totally worth it for the peace of mind. Moving right along to Section 5, Equipment and Commission Activation. Let's fast forward a few weeks. The Department of Licensing approves your application, and they issue your official commission certificate. What happens next? Well, you need your physical tools, and Washington has some pretty strict specifications here. First up is your official stamp. It must be applied in permanent ink, it has to be capable of being photocopied, and crucially, this is a big one, it is legally prohibited from displaying the official Washington state seal. Second, you must purchase a physical, bound notary journal with pre-numbered pages. Washington is very serious about record keeping. By law, you have to retain this journal for 10 years after your commission ends. Let's move to and see how this builds into your total startup costs. Factoring in that mandatory $40 state fee, your surety bond premium, the stamp, and the journal, you're looking at a minimum of about $95 to launch this career. Even on the higher end, if you buy premium supplies or maybe bundle in some voluntary training, it might be closer to $225. To put that into perspective, that is an incredibly low barrier to entry for starting up in a licensed profession. Section 6. Building your notary business. Now that you're officially commissioned and fully equipped, let's talk about the fun part, the post-commission reality of actually providing the service and generating some revenue. $10. That is the maximum fee you can legally charge per traditional notarial act in Washington state. Now you might be thinking, $10? How on earth is this a profitable side hustle? Well, here's the secret. While the stamp itself caps at $10, as a mobile notary, you can charge additional travel and convenience fees, provided that you and the signer agreed upon them in advance. This right here is exactly how mobile notaries build highly lucrative businesses. To really expand your business over your 4-year term, you'll want to cultivate a stellar professional reputation with local real estate agents, loan officers, and attorneys. You can also significantly upgrade your earning potential by adding a remote online notarization, or RON, endorsement. Once you have your traditional commission, you can apply to perform notarizations completely online via webcam. And the absolute best part, Washington allows remote notaries to charge up to $25 per remote act. That opens you up to clients far, far beyond your immediate geographic area. As we wrap up today, please remember this explainer is meant to serve as a general educational guide. For personalized advice, always consult the Washington Department of Licensing or a legal professional. But just look at what we've covered today. From understanding the court duties and eligibility to navigating the application, securing your bond, and even planning out your business strategy, you have the complete playbook now. So the only question left is, how will you use your new commission to impact your community and build your future? Thanks so much for joining me on The Explainer, and happy notarizing!